Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to In the Lobby, a podcast that lives right here on the Rail Lovers podcast feed. My name is Marley Silverbrand, your host as always, and today it's just me today. I'm just talking here to the camera just all by myself because one, I couldn't get a guest. Two, I just want to talk about these live action shorts that I don't feel like not a lot of people are talking about. So I feel like for the short episode of In the Lobby, it's probably most appropriate to talk about the live action shorts that were nominated for the 96th annual Academy Awards. Uh, yeah, I don't really have anything else planned. Towards the end of the episode, we are going to be playing some voicemails, which, by the way, if you aren't following us, the Rail Lovers Pod on Instagram, I announced that we have a voicemail now. So if you'll probably see that little banner scrolling at the bottom of the screen, like right now, give us a call at 213-433-2908. 213-433-2908. Give us a call and leave a voicemail and keep it about 60 seconds, maybe less than that. Tell us where you're from. And we'll play it on the show. We'll play it on In the Lobby or the Real Lovers podcast, where we're covering all the movies in the Letterboxd Top 250. But yeah, I look forward to hearing all your voicemails coming in. And but let's get started on some of these live action shorts that I actually spent a good portion of my weekend watching. And let's kick it off with like the star of the show, and that is The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. This is the Wes Anderson short film that Netflix distributed as well. You can watch it now on Netflix. And say what you want about Wes Anderson. I think what Wes Anderson is doing here is actually probably something that he should have been doing a really long time ago. Like The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is it's a Roald Dahl adaptation, and it makes me kind of wonder why Wes Anderson wasn't adapting Roald Dahl like stories like in the first place. And yeah, this is honestly just a great story starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Henry Sugar, and just a great story about just greed and like our like human nature, needing to be greedy, and like money doesn't solve everything. And also it's still got like all of that Wes Anderson like quirks as well, but kind of like bundled up into like a nice little like package, like a 40-minute package. And like I think the interesting thing when I finished The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, I think the interesting thing like about this film is that it like I saw Asteroid City last year, and that film also had narration, and it was kind of doing some similar things to what The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar is doing here. But I feel like the Henry Sugar does it a lot better than Asteroid City in so many ways, just because Asteroid City just feels very bloated, and it honestly felt like Wes Anderson was just kind of like he got all of his quirks together and was just throwing everything against the wall. At least here with a short film, he's able to be a little bit more concise and tell a beginning, middle, and end story like pretty quickly and just be a lot more constrained. That being said, I feel like The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar being nominated at the 96th Annual Academy Awards feels a little bit cheap, in my opinion, just because there are so many great live action short films that have been nominated at the Academy Awards, and a lot of those people are very like they're no name directors. Like they're just trying to they're no name directors, but they're trying to make their name in this industry. And to have Wes Anderson just come into a live action short film category and just kind of like eat like these indie filmmakers, these legitimate indie filmmakers lunch, kind of rubs me the wrong way a little bit. And also just Netflix just coming in there as well. Like Netflix is a gigantic media conglomerate that is that they're basically classifying themselves as independent and like guerrilla style filmmaking, but they really aren't. They're on the levels of Warner Brothers and Apple TV, and it's just that's kind of like the issue that I have. Like, yeah, they are just distributing it, but th- I would much rather have like the live action short film category actually represent independent film a lot more than like like the nominees that we're seeing right now. I have another film that I'm going to talk about pretty soon that's from Netflix as well, and it's like this big budget short film that I think is a lot worse than The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. Actually, let's just get into it. Let's get the Netflix short films like out of the way. Like, because the next film that I watched after Henry Sugar was The After. This is this is a short film starring David Oyelowo. If you don't remember that name, he played Martin Luther King in Selma, and did a really great performance in that. I can't really say that about this performance. Like, I know David Oyelowo is he's he's a really great actor, and he acts with his eyes, and you can totally tell that in like the short film. But for me, it didn't really hit just because it just I don't know. The script's not very good. The script's not very good. And it like I understand like where they're going, and it seems like the problem that I have with the after compared to the wonderful story of Henry Sugar is that, like I said, Henry Sugar has a very open and shut case where it's like here's the beginning, middle, and end. We're telling a story in 40 minutes. The after is shorter than that at around 20-30 minutes, I believe. It feels like they're pitching like a mini series or a feature film, but I'm just like, just make a short film. Like, tell the story like in that amount of time and get it over with. And if you make a feature film from that, it like a short film shouldn't be pitching a larger thing. Like, that's the problem that I have here. It's like I like the concept of like of what they presented here of just like this father that is basically like he's trying to be a good dad with to his daughter, and then all of a sudden his daughter and and wife are just taken away from him from this graphic murder. But the movie doesn't really go anywhere with that. Like, I understand it's called The After and like what he's going through after like this tragic event, but that you don't really get much there. Like, yeah, he's an Uber driver driving through these streets and just reminding like what his life was like from the passengers that he picks up, but there's not much there in my opinion. But that's The After. That's the second Netflix film that that is nominated for the live action short film category. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, what you thought of The After. But the last film that I watched, I've only watched 3 of the 5 nominees because those are the only ones that I could find here here on the internet. I know that my local theater is gonna be playing a lot of these films like closer to the award show, but these are the ones that you can find like on YouTube pretty easily accessible. Um, but yeah, the last film that I watched was Night of Fortune. This is a Danish film about just this man grieving over his wife, and his wife just died, and it's a dark comedy. I found I'm just gonna do like a little initial reactions because I know that there's probably deeper meanings to this one, and I know that like I've seen a lot of like other reactions too. Of people saying that this film's actually rather funny. I didn't really think it was funny. I thought it was more like heartwarming as well, kind of like that process of dealing with a loved one when they've passed and like what is going through your mind like when that happens. And thought that was it was an interesting piece kind of diving into stuff like that, but I didn't necessarily find this funny because it's just very, very dry humor. Like, I don't know Denmark is, like, into for, like, comedy. I don't know if it's, like, typically dry comedy like this, But if you're into that type of drive comedy, I'm pretty sure that like this one is like right up your alley. Uh, Night of Fortune though, it's really well shot, really well lit. I thought like from that aspect, but I can see like the emotional sides for of it, but comedy not so much. Um, but yeah, that is Night of Fortune. It's a Danish film, and it's nominated in the live action short film category at the '96 Academy Awards. And then the last film that I tried to watch, I seen the trailer, but this is a film that I feel like because I know I said that Wes Anderson is probably going to win this category just because he's Wes Anderson and he hasn't won an Academy Award. Which, as much as I don't want that to happen because he's a big name, like I said, but this is my dark horse, and it honestly could be a front runner at this point. I'm trying my hardest to actually see this film because apparently it was on YouTube, but not anymore. But the film is called Red, White, and Blue, not Red, White, and Royal Blue, the film on Amazon that I didn't particularly care for. It's Red, White, and Blue. This is a film, from what I can tell from like the trailer, is a film about. It's very topical. Basically, a film about like a girl that gets pregnant, and it's her journey to in the process of getting an abortion. And we all know like the troubles of what's of that life, like especially nowadays because of all the crazy restrictions that this country is putting on women's bodies. um yeah, and I from what I got from the trailer, I thought the trailer was actually incredibly tense and just really well shot, and the performance is really great. But yeah, that Red, White, and Blue. I believe you can probably catch it probably on Apple TV here pretty soon. That's probably why it was taken off YouTube. But based on the trailer, Red, White, and Blue, I feel like it could be a front runner just because of the political aspects of it. And usually the Academy likes to be on the right side of history with stuff like that. But that's Red, White, and Blue. Check it out at a theater near you or at a browser near you, like when it's actually available for everyone to see. But yeah, those were the short films and the films that I feel like could be a front runner for uh, the live action short film category. Let me know down in the comments down below if you've seen any of these short films. I would love to hear your thoughts. Before we get into our voicemails, though, I've actually been doing a challenge for myself. Like after a challenge for myself for this first month of January. It's been a challenge, or I would guess it's more of a New Year's resolution to see more films. But I've been trying my hardest to see a film every single day during the month of January, and have that transition into the next month, the film every single day for February. So basically see 365 movies in a single year. And I've stuck to that goal pretty much. So look forward to the next episode of the Real Lovers podcast where Abby Loves Film is coming on the podcast to talk The Chungking Express. My last four watch is going to be a very eclectic bunch of movies, and let me know in the comments down below if you want to see a what I've been watching for the month of January, because it's going to be 31 movies at this point. But yeah, it's going to that's definitely going to be it's definitely going to be a fun challenge for me. uh, I'm definitely looking forward for it. But yeah, but I know I've been kind of delaying the surprise about the voicemails that I have here. But once again, if you want to call into the show, the number is scrolling right at the bottom of the screen, like right here. Call us at 213-433-2908 and leave a voicemail. 60 seconds or less, and just give us your name and where you're calling from. The first call we actually have it's honestly a question mark. I don't know. This is what they send it in as. I don't even know. We're just gonna play it. We're just gonna play it.
Yo, Marley, it's your boy ABK in the building. Boom, boom, bang. I just want to say I'm a huge fan of your podcast. Keep doing your thing. You're killing the game. Also, family for life, my brother.
'Kay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
213-433-2908. And leave a voicemail at 6 seconds or less. And just give us your name and where you're calling from. The first call we actually have is a tough question mark.
Family for Life. That's MBK23 on TikTok. Everyone give him a follow. He makes really great videos, and yeah. Uh, glad you're enjoying the podcast, man. Appreciate you so much. Yeah, those are the kind of voicemails that I'm kind of looking for to play on the show. I will play anything at this point. I will play anything, just like this next caller calling in, talking about a classic film.
Hey Marley, this is Vakash. I love the podcast, but I think we're lacking. Like, Tokyo Drift definitely needs to be at the forefront of the podcast, and I'm not seeing it. So, like, we gotta run this or something. Like, Justin Lin made a fantastic picture. Nolan loves it too. We need to talk about Tokyo Drift. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vakash, for calling in. I do agree with you that Justin Lin made a really terrific picture, but I'm gonna have to ask everyone that's listening to this podcast, finish the podcast, then scroll through my feed. Uh, it's really it's really easy if you missed the series that we did with Stoned and Social. It's called Fated and Furious, and we watched every single Fast and Furious leading up to F9, the Fast Saga. It was a bumpy road along the way, but I feel like it was a really decent road along the way. And Tokyo Drift is definitely my favorite in the series, and it's I am loving the resurgence that Tokyo Drift is getting, especially after the abomination that is the 10th film in the franchise. Not Hobbs and Shaw, that's also an abomination, but the 10th film in the franchise, Fast X. Tokyo Drift goes back to an era of the franchise where one, it was about street racing, and two, it was just what I love about that film is that it's Justin Lin kind of giving the impossible task of just bringing this franchise back to life and kind of doing like whatever he wants with the franchise because he's coming off Better Luck Tomorrow, and he really could have made anything at this point or signed on to make anything just because everyone loves Better Luck Tomorrow. Everyone should go check out Better Luck Tomorrow. But it's one of those it's just one of those films that I just appreciate just like when people sign on for a Fast and Furious like movie like in this long running franchise, it could be very jaded, just like, oh geez, what am I doing? But Justin Lin made the best of it. And that's the thing that I can respect most about it. But yeah, check out that series here on this feed. It's called Fated and Furious. But it's 2024. That movie came out in 2006. 2 more years. It's going to be having its 20th anniversary, which is absolutely nuts. So, Vakash, I will be happy to run this podcast in about 2 years, just giving the Tokyo Drift the 20th anniversary podcast celebration that it deserves. But yeah, not right now. I feel like it's a little bit too close to the series that I did this. But thanks for the shout out, love you, Vakash. And yeah, if you want to be featured like Vakash and MBK23, give us a call at 213-433-2908. Just give us a call and I'll play it on the next episode of this podcast. But with that being said, stay tuned for our next episode where we're covering all of the movies in the Letterboxd Top 250 on the Rail Lovers podcast. And the film that we're covering this week is The Chungking Express, directed by Wong Kar-wai. And for the Rail Lovers podcast and In the Lobby, my name is Marley Silverbrand, and let's get back to the movies.